What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of your favorite, biggest little podcast on the internet. It's Stateside Footy, and man, oh man, what a weekend did we have. Obviously, every single Monday we do this show. It's Yanks Abroad, where we recap, the weekend that was for our U.S. men's national team players abroad. Oh, man, before we get into it, though, go ahead and smash the like and subscribe button, but also go ahead and share this on the internet. As we are obviously trying to grow the channel, we would definitely appreciate it. So without further ado, let's not waste any time and let's get into it. And we are going to start in England, as we always start in England. And of course, it's the English Premier League. And Anthony Robinson had himself yet another good performance, this time in a 3-1 thrashing over Newcastle. What's up with Newcastle on the road, by the way? That is a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde squad, if I've ever seen one. Very good at St. James Park, but as soon as they leave the comfortable confines, they fall apart. This time, Arsenal was absolutely brilliant. Anthony Robinson was a part of the play that freed up Emil Smith Rowe, and pretty much Fulham was off to the races on that one. I rated Anthony Robinson a 7.2. He played the full 90. He was 21 of 26 passing, 43 total touches, 6 in the final third. 6 passes into the final third. 2 of 2 aerial duels, 1. He was absolutely brilliant. And this is the thing about Anthony Robinson is every single week he just gets better. That dude's ceiling is very high to the point now. On top of knowing that Manchester United wants him, now Liverpool has gotten to the fray. Listen, Anthony, whatever you do, are you listening? Whatever you do not go to Manchester United. Please do me that favor. I don't want to actually have to watch Manchester United more than I want to. Do yourself a favor, go to Spurs. All right, moving on down the line, Chris Richards. Speaking of Manchester United, Crystal Palace played to a 0-0 draw. And this was probably his best performance so far. He got off to a little bit of a rocky start. And, of course, that led into the international break, which was not good. But since he's been back from international break, this by far was his best performance. I rated him at a 7.3. He played the full 90. He was 24 of 31 of passing, 51 total touches, 2 passes into the final third, 5 of 5 grand duels, 1. He was absolutely brilliant. And these are the things that you want to see, especially from the center back grouping of the U.S. men's national team. There's a lot of sketchy parts, man. And these are the things that kind of put guys at ease. One of the things that I will say, as Richards himself progress, it's going to make it easier for Mauricio Pochettino to at least understand that there's some stability there with Richards. But of course, this has got to carry over into the next performance. This can't be a yo-yo type situation where he has one bad performance, one good performance. But hopefully this is the start of something decent. So congratulations, Chris Richards. You are on my stock up watch list for the week. Hopefully that carries in to the next. The next one down the line is going to be Josh Sargent. Norwich had a very, very easy win over Watford, 4-1 at home. And I rated him at a 6.9. Here's the crazy thing, man. Josh Sargent just every single week never ceases to amaze me. His movement in and out of the box, his ability to draw deep into the middle of the park, take a touch there, and then move himself up the pitch is just unreal. Not even that, his movement inside the box. He actually had 3 very good scoring opportunities in this one. Now, I think maybe he got a little tentative on 2 of them because, he just it was just that movement into the shot where they were just more direct than anything. But he did have 5 shots on total, 11 of 13 passes, 20 touches, 3 inside the box. Maybe it's just that final touch where he put himself in a good position, he would have scored. But Josh, every single week, is showing up, playing the full 90. I do believe that Josh is going to better his 15 goals from last year. I actually think it's going to be in the 25 goal range this year. If that does come to fruition, and obviously Norwich gets promoted, Josh will obviously be in the Premier League next year. But even if they don't, I have a feeling that either this January or next summer, we're going to see Josh Sargent in the Premier League one way or another. Moving down to the Championship. Excuse me, we're already in the Championship. Moving over to Leeds, it's Brendan Aronson. Leeds had a 2-0 win over Cardiff. I rated him at a 7.2. He played the full 90, 2 shots. He did have an assist, a nice little assist, man. It wasn't anything special. 43 of 54 passes, 72 touches, 7 passes into the final third. He consistently just does his job well for Leeds. This wasn't exactly the best performance that I've seen from Brendan Aronson, but it was certainly good enough. Obviously Leeds comes away with the massive 3 points against Cardiff. And he continues just to do exactly what he does, putting in a stellar performance. So yeah, there's just nothing more I can add to that. I thought Brendan did well. Turning to Haji Wright, his Coventry side, they lost 2-1 to Swansea City. I rated him as a 6.0. I didn't think it was stellar. I didn't even think it was, I thought it was just a little bit above average. He only played 45 minutes before he was taken off. Only managed 1 shot, 5 of 6 passing, 14 touches. He did not really do much for Coventry this time around. And this is coming off the Carabao Cup loss to Tottenham Hotspur, where again he almost seemed to be invisible in that match as well too. It just is what it is, man. There's no other way around it. Turning to Aidan Morris, Middlesbrough lost 1-0 to Sunderland. I had him at a 6.6 rating as well too. He did play the full 90, managed 2 shots on net, 79 of 84 passes. That's a beautiful, that's a beautiful percentage right there. 12 passes into the final third. Looks like he had 79 touches. And 10 recoveries on defense as well too. And again, Aidan Morris, he's taken that opportunity with the international window and he's building upon it. He's hit the ground running in the Championship and he was absolutely phenomenal this last weekend for Middlesbrough in the midst of a loss. And of course, in League One, Gaga Slonina, they lost 2-1 to Burton Albion. I rated him at a 6.4, and again, not fantastic, not necessarily terrible. Did play the full 90. He had 1 goal conceded, 17 of 39 accurate passes, 2 total saves, 15 recoveries. Now, here's the thing about Gaga Slonina, and for whatever reason, there was a second there that there was a lot of love for the young goalkeeper. And of course, I've always been in Camp Slonina. I actually think he's the best of the young goalkeepers in the U.S. Player pool. And I'm going to set the record straight on Gaga Slonina because I think this has to. He's getting a lot of hate because he's playing in League One. And understand that this wasn't his decision to go to League One. He's a part of the Chelsea loan army. Okay, that business did not get done to the end of the summer. And if you were paying attention to what Chelsea were doing, they basically spent the entire transfer window revamping their starting 11. By the time they got to Gaga, it was at the end of basically near the end of the transfer window. So most teams had their keeper situations already taken. It was a situation where Gaga had to take what he could get, and unfortunately, it was League One. One of the things you have to understand about League One, yes, it is a young lead, and outside of Arthur Okonkwo at Wrexham, Gaga Slonina is probably the best keeper in League One, playing for a team that's actually projected to move up to the Championship. So, and here's the thing: just because I happen to be a little biased when it comes to Gaga, I'm also the type of guy who is going to tell it as it is. And right now, he is just not playing well. Prior to the Carabao, the 7-0 absolutely thrashing to Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, they lost 3-0 to Stevenage, where he didn't necessarily play all that well. Obviously, he didn't play well in the Carabao Cup. he actually rebounded to actually put up a decent performance this last weekend. One of the things about Gaga is he's kind of that traditional old school keeper, almost in the same mold of a guy like Brad Guzan, Tim Howard, Casey Keller, some of these old guys that we used to have. And he's not afraid to come off his line. He's not afraid to be in his box and challenge, cut down angles. So he takes chances. And that's what I like about him. He's not tentative like Matt Turner. He will go out there and try to make a play. Now, sometimes right now, at least, he's getting a little burned while he's doing that. And of course, you're going to see guys like Pete over at 11 Yanks say that, Matt Turner's ahead of him right now, even though Matt Turner's not playing. So here's the thing, man. Gaga I think he's only 21 years old right now. There's still a lot of room for growth and there's still a lot of room for development. But here's the thing. If Barnsley moves up, and he's one of the reasons why he's going to get that move to a bigger club, 100% ahead of the 2025-2026 season, and who knows how that's going to play out. But I do understand that Mauricio Pochettino prefers young players. And if Matt Turner is not playing, and Ethan Horvath, who was not listed because he's been benched, it's going to open the door for guys like Patrick Schulte and Gaga Slonina and Diego Cochin to come into camp, get minutes, and show them and show Pochettino just exactly what they have. And I think Gaga Slonina is going to be a part of that. Movement moving forward. Turning our attention to France now, there was really only one that played this weekend, and that was good old Ballo. And finally, Ballo got off and got a goal. Got his first of the season as Monaco beat Le Havre 3-1. I rated him at a 7.7. I thought he actually did pretty well. 1 goal on 5 shots. He was 14 of 18 passes, 33 touches, 7 in the box. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do in the time that he got in this game. Did not play the full 90, but still was able to do that. And understand that strikers feed off of confidence. And so one of the things that Ballo's been dealing with, he got benched earlier this season. Man, we're only 5 matches in, and he got benched. He got benched in that thing. Didn't necessarily put out for the international window. It is what it is. But again, these are the small little victories that players, especially strikers, feed off of. And so maybe this might be the start of something, but understand that he's not been in form for well over a year now. So, he only had 7 goals last year in his first season with Monaco. But we can finally report something decent, and he goes on to the stock up as well. Mark McKenzie did not play for Toulouse. Tanner Tessman did not play this weekend for Lyon, and Caleb Wiley also did not play for Strasbourg. So there is that. Turning our attention to Italy now. Obviously, we're going to start off with the Milan derby because your boy Christian Pulisic had himself a very fantastic game. They beat Inter 2-1. I had him rated at 7.6. Played 78 minutes, 1 goal on 1 shot, 16 to 20 passes. Let's see, 35 touches, 3 inside the box. So very good, solid performance for Christian Pulisic. And again, there's going to be a lot of talk on whether or not he's quote unquote world class. Here's how I define world class. Okay. The top teams in the world, we know. Okay. AC Milan is no longer a top team in the world, and neither is Juventus. I'm sorry to say, Serie A is not the Serie A of old. So you're talking Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Bayern, Barca, Real Madrid, PSG. Do these teams covet Christian Pulisic? Like, if he was available, if AC Milan made him available, would any of those teams covet him? I don't know the answer to that question. But to me, like when you start talking about some of the best, the Messis, the Ronaldos, Iniesta, like you get what I'm saying. Those level of players, obviously, those are coveted players. I think Christian Pulisic is definitely an elite player. I truly believe that. But I also think that he's in the right situation for himself, playing for a coach in Fonseca who is, using him correctly, and also is putting a lot of trust and a lot of faith in him. And right now it's paying off. 2 goals in 2 games, including the big one against Liverpool in the Champions League. That's going to continue later this week. So right now he's just on a roll. He's in form, and this is absolutely something that we absolutely want to see when it comes to the U.S. men's national team. His teammate, also part of the U.S. men's national team, Yunus Musa, did not play in this one in the Milan derby. It is what it is. But what can you do? Turning our attention to Juventus, Winston McKennie made his way into the starting lineup. This was after having a nice goal in the Champions League win over PSV. This time a 0-0 draw to Napoli, and he followed that up with not necessarily the greatest performance ever. I rated it at 6.5. Played 80 minutes, 20 of 23 passing, so that was pretty decent. 32 total touches, 2 in the opposite box, and 2 passes into the final third. But for the most part, he still kind of looks a little out of shape. But the one thing that I can say is at least he's back into the starting lineup, which is exactly what you want to see. Obviously this is the first step to regaining total form, and obviously in form, we know what Weston McKennie is able to bring to the table. He's an absolute brilliant player, and obviously last year led the team in assists. He's good, and this is the first start. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing this, and hopefully the same can continue. His teammate, Tim Weah, he got on the pitch for 45 minutes. I rated him at a 6.6, 15-7 passing, 21 total touches, and he also got 1 shot off on net. So that's also good. This is a continuing development for Tim Weah to get back into the starting lineup for Juve. Big things are expected of Weah. And so it's nice to see that progression coming back from injury. The other guy that I wanted to point out this week was Gianluca Busio, whose Venezia side beat Genoa 2-0. I had him rated at an 8.5. I thought he was the best player on the field for Venezia. Played 89 total minutes. He scored a goal on 2 shots, 30 of 38 passing, 4 passes into the final third, 53 touches, 3 in the opposite box, and he was the best player on the field that match. And this is actually absolutely fantastic because he does do a lot of things for you. This one he was playing at the 10, but he can play the 8 if you need him to be. If you need to be a deep line playmaker, he can play the 6 if you need it as well too. But this is the preferred position for him on the field. Of course, he's going to be in a relegation scrap this year. Venezia moved up, and they're trying to stay up. So Busio is going to be a very important key piece to that puzzle for Venezia. And but this is also big for the U.S. men's national team because this is something that you want to see: competition at the 10. Gio Reyna, whenever he gets back and whenever he gets healthy, is going to get a long look. Obviously, we have Malik Tillman, who's right now playing absolutely phenomenal. It's nice to have those other options. Competition is only going to get better for this team, and that's exactly what specifically this position absolutely needs is more competition. And I'm happy that Busio is finally on the field because if you remember, he got injured in the Olympics. I thought he had a very good Olympic tournament before he got injured. So it's nice to see him back on the field and producing in a big way. To me, that was the best performance. That was probably the better performance of the weekend. I know that Pulisic is going to get the headlines, but it was really Busio who had the better match. All right, turning our attention to the Netherlands, more specific, the Eredivisie. And we will start with PSV because Malik Tillman had himself an absolute banger of a match in a 3-1 winner over Fortuna. I rated him at a 9.3. 2 goals on 3 shots, 79 touches, 6 in the opposition box, 4 of 5 on accurate long balls, including 2. Like those 2 goals were absolutely opportunistic. One of them on a free kick, and that's again, we talk about competition. These are the type of things that Mauricio Pochettino are going to be looking at. I mean, a lot of people just assume that it's going to be Christian, but it's nice having those those other the other players in that squad that has the potential to nail down free kicks. I know that Triple G loved Georgi Mihailovic, but you can't just carry dudes just because they only can do one thing well. Yeah, he had a good game, man. No doubt about it. His teammate, Ricardo Pepi, only played 10 minutes, and he didn't do anything really. I rated him at a 5.9, 4 of 6 passing, but, didn't really touch the ball a lot. And, of course, he's behind Luke de Jong, so it is what it is. And that's something that has to be remedied sooner rather than later. And if you are Ricardo Pepi, you can't be okay with this right here. Like, for the national team, he has to be playing. Say what you will about the championship, but Sargent is flourishing in the championship with Norwich. And maybe that's something that might be beneficial for a guy like Ricardo Pepi, going to a team that's going to give him starting minutes that will commit to him for that type of position. Who knows if PSV wants to let him go? But that being said, what's his bucket? Former U.S. men's national team GM. I can't think. What's his name? Doesn't matter. He's running. Good Lord. Yeah. Anyway, he's running the show over there in PSV. His name will come to me. And it's for the it's not just for the betterment of PSV, but it's also the benefit for the player and the national team. And that's something that has to, that's something that has to correct itself sooner rather than later. And Pepe can't be happy with 10 minutes per game. The other guy, Richie Ledesma, did not play. Turning our attention to FC Utrecht. They lost 4-0 to Camber. Paxton Aronson played, got 80 minutes in that one. I had him rated out at a 6.8. 3 shots, 13 of 20 passes, 3 passes into the final third, 37 total touches. He gave another good Paxton Aronson performance in a loss. You would have liked to see, maybe, better looks at net. Yes, 3 shots, but you're kind of hoping to bury one of those. It is what it is. Paxton is going to continue to start, and he's going to continue to evolve and continue to flourish with FC Utrecht. Wasn't the greatest performance, but it also wasn't the worst performance. Close to a 7 there. So, there's a lot of room for improvement for Paxton Aronson. Aronson week to week. We've seen him do better, and hopefully we'll see that next week. Teammate, U.S. men's national team, Taylor Booth, winger. The winger Taylor Booth did not play. Turning our attention to Germany now. Leonard Maloney. His Heidenheim team lost 3-0 to Freiburg. I had him at a 5.8. He only played 71 minutes, 18 of 29 passing, 42 touches. Again, not the greatest performance this time around, but what are you going to do? This is the continuing evolvement for Leonard Maloney. And I do believe that he's got a future with the national team. But again, it's consistency from week to week for him, and understand that you're going to have these type of performances in the Bundesliga. Turning to Julian Green, and this is the second time he's been on my list. I'm keeping an eye on Julian because I do believe that with Mauricio Pochettino, the player pool is 100% wide open, and his team lost 2-0 to Eintracht Braunschweig. in the Bundesliga too. But I rated him out at 7.4. He actually was the best player on the field in a 2-0 loss. Played the full 90, 2 shots, 39 of 44 passes. Wow. 6 passes into the final third, 67 total touches, and he was also pretty decent on defense as well too. The ability to use his movement to track back. Julian Green right now is playing phenomenally, and if the U.S. men's national team, these are the things that you want to see, and these are the things that you want to need. And I think right now Julian Green has earned the right to get called into camp, and he should be in camp. Kevin Breedes of Wolfsburg did not play. Joe Scally, again, puts in another Joe Scally performance. This time in a 2-0 loss to Frankfurt. I rated him out at 6.3. He played the full 90, 35 to 39 passes, 4 passes into the final third, 54 touches, 6 to 7 ground duels. But, that's Joe Scally. Turning our attention to Belgium, Marlon Fossey played again. He had a pretty good game. In a 0-0 draw to Union. I had him rated at a 7.0. Played 74 minutes, 13 of 15 passes, 3 passes into the final third, 41 touches, and 3 on ground duels. He was actually very good. And this time he was playing a little bit more forward on the field, kind of in a wing-back position. I like it. And he's got what I like about him is he's got the speed on the wings as well, too. He does have he has what you're looking for as a better upside, like with far better upside to Joe Scally at that right back position. And as much as I like Scally defensively in Mauricio Pochettino, there is going to be a need, for your backs to be a little bit more attack minded. And I think Fossey brings that in spades. I would like to see Fossey back getting some minutes again. I thought he had a very, very, very good international window with us this last time around. Played well. Should be back in. And I would love to see him against Mexico. So Griffin Yao for Westerlo did not play. And that's disappointing too, because I thought Griffin had a very good Olympics. And I'm wondering if this is an injury issue. And we'll find out. We will find out. All right. So now that we're done with the players overseas, it's time to turn our attention to domestic leagues, Major League Soccer. And of course, there's a lot of guys who were a part of the national team who are no longer now, but there are still some MLSers that are definitely a part of the national team, even though, in the case of a guy like Jordan Morris, who hasn't been for a while, but he's still a part of that pool. And I still think that he has a future in the national team. Don't listen to some other YouTube guys who will take pot shots at MLSers. It's ridiculous in my mind. We're going to start with Jordan Morris of the Seattle Sounders. They drew 2-2 with San Jose. I rated Jordan at 8.8. He was phenomenal, man. He played the full 90, 2 goals on 3 shots. Obviously 3 and 3 of shot accuracy, 37 touches, 8 touches in the opposing box, 18 of 26 passing. And for a Sounders team that's sitting in 5th in the Western Conference, and they're only getting their offense from 2 different places. They're getting it from Jordan, obviously, who has basically been on fire since April 28th. And now it's like, he's scored in 5th, it's crazy. He's scored in 15 of the last 18 league games. It's just been ridiculous. He's on an insane streak. He's going to break his single season goal record. His previous, I think, was like 11 maybe, but he's going to end up with 15 or so. Very good season for Jordan. And he just continues to, for all the doubters, he still continues to perform. Seattle's getting offense. They're basically getting their goals from Jordan Morris or Albert Rusnik, and that's pretty much it for the Sounders. And Jordan continues just to be the guy carrying that load for the Sounders. And these are the type of performances, right? And we were talking earlier in the show about deserving to get a look in a camp. Jordan Morris definitely deserves to get a look, 100%. Tim Ream. Charlotte FC beat the New England Revolution 4-0 this last weekend. I rated him out at a 7.0. Played the full 90, 28 of 34 passes. 10 obviously into the final third, 58 touches, one of one crossing. He had six defensive actions. He was good. Tim Ream was good, and I think it's important to highlight it because Tim Ream's getting a lot of hate right now, and I understand. He's 38 years old. By the time 2026 rolls around, he'll be 40. I still think that Tim Ream is going to play a role, at least for the next year, until they can figure out that secondary piece at the left center back position. Until then, I think Tim Ream still has a spot. We'll see. But, yeah, he played well again. The other guy to name is John Tolkien. And this is interesting because Tolkien had a pretty good game. In a 2-2 draw to Atlanta, I rated him out at an 8.5. Played the full 90, had himself a nice assist, 46 of 58 passing. He was 4 of 13 on crosses, 9 corners, 6 of 7 ground duels. But the thing about it was the pace, and the thing about it is he's still getting rumored to a move over to Europe, and I think that happens in January. And it's kind of tough getting in there mid-year. But that being said, he's 22. It's time for him to make that move before it becomes a little too late, and I think he will this January. But I thought he was good, man. I thought he was very good for New York. I think he probably was the best player on the field, defensively at least for New York. Very good game for him. Saw a little bit of that match. He just looked impressive. Walker Zimmerman, they had a 2-2 draw with Cincinnati. I rated him out at 6.8. Played the full 90, 27 of 28 passing. He was 2 of 2 in he was 2 of 2 with passes in the final third. 2 of 3 aerial duels, and that's exactly where he's excelled. He's a very good aerial duelist, and this is where I think he actually has room on the national team, because that's one of the places where the U.S. is actually very weak at, especially in set pieces. They don't have somebody that can go up and actually make a play. Walker Zimmerman can do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And lastly, Jalen Neal did not play for the LA Galaxy. And yeah, he's, listen, man, he's had a little bit of he's been a little shaky the last couple of matches, but he was actually very good in El Trafico, especially after the 2 goals from LAFC. That defensive line really stepped up and did a very good job. All right, well, why don't you let me know in the comments how you felt our U.S. men's national team players did this last weekend. Tell me who you have stock up. Because for me, it was Chris Richards. I thought it was Gianluca Busio, and I thought it was Malik Tillman this week for me. For sure, I thought those 3 were the highlights. Obviously, Christian had a very, very, very good week, week in total. So very good. I also thought Ballo had a good week as well too. I can't hide that. Josh Sargent, I wish I would have seen enough of him. But let me tell me what you think. Drop your comments in the comments below, and remember to hit like and subscribe and share this on the internet, man. Let's get this channel growing, man. Let's have a good time and let's talk ball, man. We'll see you next time. Thank you for stopping by.